All right.
So, this will be part 2 that we did with Evan.
The serious part.
From the Dumbass Dudes podcast, where we talked about, I think we did a little bit of parenting, and we obviously talked about race.
And he absolutely
because he's an eloquent black guy.
You fucking cunt. Man, he absolutely bust my balls.
He did, and it was great.
It was great.
But we talked about Chappelle and the reaction to that, and race and slavery, and we just, I mean, it really. And I think he even posed the question about one time about like dads, like, could you be surprised by if you heard anything about your dad now, would it surprise you? And some stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it was great. It really was. Like I said,
he enjoyed talking to him.
I haven't anybody bust my balls like that in a while, but I appreciated it, because it's always funny, because it's almost like he honed in on it like you do. Like the shit that gets under my skin the most is the things that are unintentional on my part, and that like he knew good and well that I didn't mean it the way he picked it out, but he knew that he could do it. And like, it's the same way you do shit. Anyway, it was fucking great. So,
and I'm grateful to him for giving us, two episodes, 4 hours of his time. Yeah. So I'm grateful that
I'm going to send him a nice thank you email tomorrow.
Yeah. He was home and hanging out, watching his kid, because his wife was, I don't know.
I'm going to put watching loosely in this instance.
Well, I mean, his kid was in the same room, because every once in a while you could see him kind of look and make sure his kid his kid had headphones on. Yeah. So but it was, I enjoyed Evan, and at some point early in 2022, we're going to be on their show as well.
Yeah, which would be cool.
Yeah, but here's part 2 of us with Evan from the Dumbass Dudes podcast.
You don't have to finger blast. You can use your tongue. I don't care. But you don't. Is there a dollar amount to get your mom off?
This tastes like my stepdad.
No, is there a dollar amount? Again, you don't. She doesn't know it's you. You know it's her, but you don't have to look at her. Just say it's a sheep. But you know who it is. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is there a dollar amount? Evan?
Come on, man. I'm not fun. I'm not fun. I'm not a fun guy.
There's a dollar amount for most.
You're a very fun guy.
There's a dollar amount for most things. Again, man, that's a very high dollar amount, though. It's very high. What about you?
$20.
The better joke would have been, you'd be like, to do it again? That would have been the better joke.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know, man. She's put on some weight. I mean, no.
Okay. Flip that around, and your mom like jerks you off. You know it's her. You don't have to look at her. She doesn't know it's you.
Me.
She's just jerking a dick.
I don't know that could happen. That's the thing.
For the big reveal.
I don't know that if I know it's her. I don't know that I can get off. I don't know that I can even get it up for that. That's the thing.
That's where the prostate comes into play.
No, I don't think I could. I think the person will present the money, whatever the dollar amount is being, and I go, okay, whatever.
Okay, how about you don't know who it is until it's done, and then like, oh, that was
well, there's no way for me to give it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Take the dollar amount. How would you feel if somebody was like, oh, you get a massage and a hand job, and you were down for that because you're a single dude?
There's not a lot of things that make me want to kill myself.
Right.
That's one.
Right.
Yeah.
You saw what happened in Old Boy. So that was for free.
It means I never have to go to a family get together on her side ever again.
Yeah. But what if you found out she knew it was you all along? It's a twist.
I'm not Shyamalan that shit.
Oh,
I don't know.
This is a particularly weird episode.
It is.
Yeah. It's been all over the fucking map. There's been nothing substantially good in any part of this show.
Depends what you're into.
That's true. You're into banging retards.
If you're into incest, this is the show for you. It's our next ad.
Okay, shifting gears off of this for just a second.
Okay.
For you guys' as podcast, do you guys do promotion? This is such a weird shift. But like, do you guys have any type of promotion, advertisements? How are you guys pushing to grow your shit?
No,
and the reason I'm asking it because we're trying to figure shit out as we go as well.
Right. You guys are way ahead of us. I mean, shit, we didn't just start using like our Twitter and Instagram accounts until a few months ago. You know what I mean? We got them and we secured them when we first started the show. But I mean, everybody's like, guys want the show to grow, but they're kind of just doing it, having fun in the moment, but not really participating or having much more to do outside of that, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like for some people, they're just like, we're really going hard at this and we want this to grow and we're going to push this and we're going to do everything we can. I'm the guy that's always coming saying, hey, you know, let's do this. Let's try this. We got this going on, that going on. And we got to find the time to do this. So,
all right.
It's hard. It's weird.
It is. Well, Joey's on that side of things. We had a big, I should say, Tiff, we have an episode called Kiss and Makeup because it was after I was like,
God, that's a year ago.
Yeah, it's been a year ago. But like, I was finally like, okay, like I've been a douche and I haven't done nearly as much as I should. And I don't do much as it is. But it was more of a, hey, let's, you know, I distribute this weight a little bit and like actively try to do some shit going forward. And we've tried some things here and there. I don't think anything's been, you know, spectacularly successful. I mean, their best things have just become with getting guests and just being consistent, you know.
Although I will say, I think I've released some pretty damn good clips this week.
Yeah.
I think I
haven't
did
listened to anybody.
pretty good this week on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook or whatever.
Yeah. I'm just saying as a whole, like most of our growth has come from like us having particular guests on, people watching, and then just retaining two or three, you know, whatever the case may be. But, you know, we've done a few promoted things and we need to do some few more, you know.
I'm not sure how.
Well, I think we need to approach it differently. Do a promoted post when we have a big show coming up. Like, so it's, you know, like say, hey, we have, you know, fucking Jay Nielsen on this Saturday. And so we have like a week or two out, promote that fucking show. But it's just been harder for us to because we moved things around so much lately and it's been a lot of last minute stuff. But anyway, it's a weird gig, man. Especially when you're grown and have other shit you have to do that's something you enjoy doing, but you're like, what do I want to do more? You know?
Yeah, people have families and have other shit going on and whatever. And for some of these shows, I'm just like, some people do a really good job of promoting their shows. Like there's a couple other people that we talk to or chat to that have shows. And it's like they have a really nice Twitter following or really nice Instagram following, and they've got like 4 shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or 6 shows. And it's like, how the fuck does that happen?
Yeah.
I think I noticed that more too with younger folks though.
Yeah.
They have a younger demographic. They have more friends. They have a larger social network and shit can spread a lot faster. Cause like now that at least for me at 40, like, I know him and I don't really have any other friends. I don't have anybody that I'm like, hey, you should listen to the show because like, I don't give a fuck about your show because it's just, you know, just the age that we're at. It's not like I have, you know, it's a bunch of friends that are gonna be like, oh, my friend's got this really great. It's kind of like being a band when you're, you know, in college. Like you have a built-in fucking demographic that's gonna because they just want some shit to do.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, like, hey, how am I gonna fucking promote what we do to anyone that's gonna give a fuck? You know.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
And there's no.
I mean, I know lots of people that would be into it, but I work with all of them.
Exactly.
That's the thing, you know. So.
Yeah. My boss followed our Instagram a couple days ago. Like, and I was like, fuck. So we'll see.
Just tell him you don't do it.
No.
You have plausible deniability.
Yeah, that guy in the video looks a lot like you. Yeah, he does. I get that.
I'm just saying, but well, but I don't release video clips.
Yeah,
I release audio.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. But how much more can you guys hide? You just had a write up on you, right?
Yeah,
we did, but it didn't go in.
That's
interesting. I can't believe we didn't mention that. Yeah.
In the Knoxville Times, was that right?
No, it's the Knoxville Voyager. It's an online publication, so
they have physical prints.
Do they?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it was online.
No, so their parent company, they have a Voyager in Las Vegas, in LA, in New York,
Denver,
and did like a few
Dallas,
cities.
Miami.
Yeah. And so we were featured in the Knoxville, section of it. Yeah, but
which was you know, that whole thing was weird because they reached out to us. Like we didn't pursue them. I had never heard of them. They reached out to us, but it was really just they sent us questions ahead of time. Steven answered all the questions and sent it back to them, and they released it.
Yeah,
we didn't sit down with them and get.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like I was under the impression because I felt like a dick kind of more than usual because we got that and I was like, sweet. So they sent us this online questionnaire thing that I thought was like a get to know you so they can have shit to prep for an interview. That's the way I read it. Other interviews I've done in the past with other things have gone. You give them almost like a bio or answer some questions, and then you sit down and they ask you questions based on the shit you gave them. And nope, the question. So I just went through and just filled a bunch of shit out on there, and that was what I posted.
You should reach back out to them and tell them we'd like to have whoever did our thing on the podcast.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I know. That's why I said it.
You so much.
I got something for you.
All right, don't please, Jesus Christ.
No, yeah, that was an interesting one. I mean, it's an oddly we don't get excited about a ton of things. I mean, but it's an oddly exciting thing for something like that to happen. But I don't know what their reader base is, or
but with our content, like legitimately though, like joking aside, with our content and how we are, like if the show grows, like, and I'd like it to, it's fucking awesome. But if it doesn't, it's like I can't believe nobody listens to what we do. Like I'm not, I get it. Like I wouldn't listen. I don't listen to podcasts generally anyway, but I sure as fuck wouldn't listen to this one.
I think I would listen to it. I would pick and choose my episodes.
Not for 2 hours.
Fuck, it's the same thing. Well, no, but I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, and that's can be 3 or 4 hours sometimes. But I listen to it in bits when I'm on the road. But
yeah, I guess so.
But I pick and choose which episodes I listen to.
Yeah,
and it'd be the same thing with this one.
Yeah.
Like this is up my alley of what I listen to.
Okay.
How do you listen to our show, Joey?
Do what?
I said, how do you listen to our show?
While I'm cooking dinner.
Oh, it's nice for cooking dinner.
Ask me how I listen to your show.
He doesn't.
I don't.
I know you don't.
I listen to.
I've listened to some of your Instagram clips. When you put the audio shit up, I'll listen to those.
Great.
So,
that's why they're there, Evan.
So, the quote "friends of the show" is I catch up on those on weekday evenings while I'm cooking dinner. Now, Trevor, they broadcast on Friday night, so usually I'm watching something on TV, and then I've got them Jackson boys on my phone, and I interact with them because I can do that live.
Like honestly, I would love and I don't know, maybe this is stupid, but like when I jokingly introduce you guys like the happened in the 90s on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think Trevor and those guys would get along fucking great with them. Like some cool conversations. Like there's some shows that we have, and one of the reasons we have friends of the show is, for not just cross promotion, but like we've had some of the guests off of some of these shows that are fucking great dudes and they're great to talk to. And
Trevor's kind of the first person that we really connected with, like that had another show.
Yeah.
Because we met him through Easy.
Yeah.
But
but great dudes.
Well, I say they Trevor didn't, but Troy had to vet us and watch us first before they'd have us on their show.
That's right.
I don't think it's
that was part of it.
I'm sure that plays into
it. Is not. It's not now. Like I love it.
So, all right. It's an interesting thing.
Let's get in it.
It's interesting. The people that honestly, the people that we have connected with the most
as a whole
and had the most quote friends of the show with are not white.
Very true.
They're the blacks.
Yes, for the most part, but CQ is Hispanic.
No, but we have honest to God, we have a weirdly African American demographic for the show. The most of the crossover episodes that we've retained listeners from have been with other, like with Dim Jackson boys,
Troy, Trevor, Jack,
all those
Easy,
guys. And they're my
Andre and Easy from the UK.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been a very weird thing. Like something I didn't expect at all.
It's like we're the white bridge to the black community.
Jesus Christ, Joey.
No, I just.
But I think,
would you have ever
thought that black people could be so personable?
No.
And
half of my family. I mean,
are you gonna go there? Say it.
Half of my in-laws are black. So
yes.
So.
I know that's real. I'm just fucking.
No, I know you are. I've been to the barbecue. I get it. I've eaten chitlins. So, I mean, that's true.
No, my theory behind it, and we've joked about this, but I think it's because we're honest to God, willing to have an open. We'll talk about anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Like transparently, whatever. And I think that's a cool, and not even racially speaking, but just in general.
Anything.
Like it's hard to find anyone that'll have a genuine conversation without getting uncomfortable or angry. Or whatever, like you might get mad because we joke, but outside of that, like we're not uncomfortable. We'll talk about any fucking thing you want to talk about.
Cutting your dick off, blasting your mom.
Right. I mean, those are ridiculous things. But
it is.
But I mean, we've had not heated, but some pretty fucking tense conversations here and there. I think for most people would be a tense conversation.
Maybe for most people, it would.
Well, I mean, even though I've had noticed like with Andre ask a couple questions. Now he does it like he likes to tee people up, but I don't know.
I've never once felt that way about him.
Yeah. Oh, he does it with me because he knows I'll just shoot from the hip.
Yeah, but 100%. I think he wants that genuine reaction from me. I don't think he's trying to tee you up. I think he's just trying to get a genuine reaction. But
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
don't know. Have you ever listened to any of the stuff we did with the guys from the UK?
Yes, I have caught some of that.
It's very interesting conversations to see the differences in the US and the UK and well, even Josh from Australia.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the last time, or the one that I heard the most, it might have been the most recent one, when you guys had them on and you were talking about affirmative action on the workplace or something like that. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. What is there? Do you feel like there's a difference between your U.S. blacks and your UK blacks?
There's a little bit, and the only reason I say that is because I listened to their most recent show this past weekend, where they had two guys from the US and the two guys from the UK talking about things and some of the differences and things. And so there's a little bit, but I think the most surprising thing is how similar some of the life experiences is and the treatments, how some of the treatments.
That's why I think foundationally there's no difference, but the expressions of those foundations differ a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Andre is really
eloquent.
He's very eloquent, but I'm saying he has really made me. Yeah, he's a beautiful man. He's really made me. He really made me think about some things where he said some things about how one of the things he said was like, think about like black people. Well, let's just go in the U.S. For the most part, black people in the U.S. fall under Protestant Christian religion for the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Because it was forced on you.
And that's the thing. Is like he was like, think about it. We have no religion. We were brought into whatever country we're at. We have no culture because we had to adapt to whatever we had. And I'm like, fuck, man, I've never thought about that before. Like, you think about black culture in the US and you just think that's black culture. But that's not black culture. That's what it's adapted from after hundreds of years of being here and adapting
of
to
losing your original culture to that.
That's it. And that's fucking insane to me. Like, I've never considered that. The hair on the back of my neck is standing up right now talking about it. Like, I've never considered that shit before ever. And I've got African-American wife, black son. I mean, my youngest two kids are mixed as well. I mean, like I've had certain experiences with them through the years, like a white girlfriend being forced to break up with my son because she's not allowed to date a black guy, losing friends my wife and I started dating. I've experienced some of that stuff, but that's not the same experience that you've had.
Exactly.
Like, I've experienced it from a white guy's perspective. It's not the same experience. I've never considered that experience. And that's in Andre saying some of those things was like, holy fucking shit, I've never considered that.
That's the important thing of healing and change, is because more people have to be willing to have the same attitude that you have about it, to learn about it, instead of just putting up a wall about it and not wanting to hear about it from jump.
Yeah. But I think that comes with that. I mean, but to get there, you have to have both parties willing to have a conversation, both willing to, and I don't think it's a matter, there is an element of right and wrong, like, because you have to take accountability or take responsibility for shit that you fucked up on, but it has to come not from just a place, and it's a fucking cliche shit, but not from finger point as much as an understanding. Like, the only way I'm gonna be able to realize I'm wrong if I can understand what the fuck you're saying, because if I don't get it, or you don't get it, then you just think I'm fucking telling you you're wrong, as opposed to me realizing I'm wrong because something clicks in my fucking brain that I didn't understand before, that was keeping me from realizing how fucking wrong I was.
But you have to be open to that. Whether you get it or not is one thing, but you have to be open to it from the start. Right.
And I'm saying that's a difficult thing with anybody, with any, not just race, but with religion, with politics. It's any of that shit. To having two parties that are willing to be open to having that conversation without coming into it with an agenda of some kind, or with I'm proving this asshole wrong, but just to want to fucking talk.
Yeah.
Because my thing with people, and part of it's being a fucking sociopath, but people, how they work, how they think, that shit interests the fuck out of me. So like, just the reasons why things are how they are, like on a behavioral or level, like that shit, because I can mimic and emulate and all that stuff, but like, what makes people tick is fucking crazy to me. So if we can talk and I can learn, even if I can't, because I'll never be able to empathize with it, that's not how my fucking brain works, but I can logically understand it, and therefore can realize that areas I've been wrong, areas I've been right. And I don't know, it pisses me off that people can't do that, though. They can't have a conversation about anything.
It
About
does,
anything.
but I think that's where we stand out a little bit because we're willing to have those kind of
turn it back to us.
conversations.
Just turn it
Well, I'm
back to
just
us.
saying, but that's
Turn it
where
back
we
to us. It's
started. We're willing to have that kind of conversation, but a lot of people who are starting podcasts now are not willing to even touch that kind of
Well,
conversation.
I think what it is, if I can step on that a little bit, and it's agreeing,
That's fine.
but it's also having people from that have the experiences being willing to talk about them openly and put up with fucking possibly ignorant questions. Because I know people
Sure.
that they're willing to tell what their experience is, but as soon as you ask some shit that's dumb or that they perceive as dumb, they're like, no, fuck you. You should know this. Like, now how the fuck am I going to know if I don't ask?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's big in the LGBTQ plus community.
And people
Like
feel
the
like people feeling like they can trust you and know that you're
Yeah.
coming from an honest place is going to make all the
Yeah.
difference in the world in the conversation.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I've even talked to people like I've had a couple friends. One of my best friends was a lesbian back in the day, but one of the reasons we were best friends because I was like, hey, I got some questions. Like some of these might be ignorant, they might be fucking or they might be taken as offensive, but I don't know if I don't ask. So if
Right.
you're willing to sit down and talk to me about shit, I'm willing to listen, but I'm going to ask you some dumb shit that's probably going to offend your ass.
Right.
You know,
And how can you be bad if somebody comes at you palms up like that? So yeah.
Right.
And that's how I try to approach these conversations. Like, listen, I might ask some ignorant shit, but I'm asking because I want to know.
But
I'm
it's
not
also it's
asking-
like if once you answer it honestly and I know the answer, I won't ask that question again because I'll know.
Mhm.
who's the man and who's the woman? That was one of my questions because coming out of a Christian
Yeah.
background and shit,
Sure.
that was one of the questions I specifically asked her. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
because the only reference that I had was man and woman marriage. Man's the head of the household, woman takes care of the home. Right? That's what I fucking brought up. And so I was like, so how does that work with you guys? And she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, no, how does it work? Who's the husband? Who's like, that doesn't matter. Like you just have your roles in the relationship and you work together, whatever. I was like, oh, so there doesn't have to be a dude like or a masculine presence. And typically people in relationships fall into masculine, feminine roles, but not necessarily gender roles, if that makes sense. Like somebody's typically more dominant and the other person is typically more submissive. One person has its strengths and weaknesses, but it's not male or female. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, most people do that. I mean, my wife, who is a very independent, smart female, could make it on her own or whatever, but there's definitely things that she's like, no, that's a man's job. Like there's definitely things that she's like, no, that's a man's job to take the garbage out.
Right.
Like that's a man's job. I'm like, and I
That's
always
gender
was like,
stereotyping.
what's a woman's job?
Right.
Like,
To get on that dick.
no, I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm just saying, like, but she also did grow up in the South.
Yeah.
I mean, with the
Yeah.
traditional family for the most
that's
part.
part of these conversations, though, is because like everything you approach is a product of what you've experienced and learned up into that point. And if all you've ever experienced is one fucking thing, you have no clue what the other person has experienced or what they've gone through.
Yeah.
Especially if, like, again, I get so tired of talking about race in this goddamn podcast.
I know you do.
But you love it. But you love it.
I enjoy the conversation.
It's a big deal in this country right now.
It is.
It's always been a big deal.
It has, but I'm saying like it's being talked about more. I'm not gonna say talked about. It's being brought up more. No one's really talking about it though. People are repeating the same general talking points and saying we should have an honest dialogue. But as soon as someone asks a question like Steve, the kind of question Steve was talking about, they get labeled.
But again, I think but it's also having the perception of being able to be trusted with an honest answer. And
that is right.
Not turn it into fodder or ammunition or whatever. No, but the reason I get tired of talking about race all the fucking time. It's not that it's not important. It's not that we don't have really great conversations about it. I just want to be the only fucking thing that's important that we talk about. And it's not. I get that.
Sure.
But because we've had a lot of podcasts we've connected with and guests that have been Black, it comes up a lot, which is great. But I was like, but you have more to talk about than race.
I'm so much more than my color, Steven.
Exactly. You're a cunt. Fuck you, Evan. but that's in a really not dickish way. That's kind of what I mean. Like, it's a very important part of our experience, but it's not the only fucking part. And and it's easy because it's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that gets talked about a lot, and sometimes I just get tired of talking about it. That's all.
I get that. I think that part of the thing, one of the differences to of us is that I have had some experiences based on my family that you haven't had. So those things are a little more prevalent in my
I get that.
wanting to talk about things and hear other people's stuff.
I'm sorry that your white life is so hard.
It's very hard. I'm telling you.
Again, it's just about its convenience and in my own enjoyment is what it boils down to. It's like I enjoy
I
talking about other things more sometimes.
You're selfish. I get it.
I am selfish, 100% more. But anyway, that's it. But I'm honest about it. God damn it! Like I'll have the conversations. I enjoy the conversations, but after a while, I want to talk about finger blasting your mom. Like that's where I go.
Yeah.
But we've had other like genuine conversations.
Sure.
I'm just saying, but because of how our guests and other shows we've talked to have gone, that's just it's been a big point of conversation because it's the one that our guests have.
That's why you only book white guests.
Yes,
you're tired of
that's
talking
exactly
about it.
why.
I got it.
Jesus Christ. No, but it's I don't know, but I
get what you're saying.
Well, but we're in a spot though that again we can be open and have these conversations even if they're uncomfortable, and that's a really cool thing. And there's not a lot of platforms for that, not just for us, but the people we've run across have been willing to have the conversations. And when you have two people that are willing to have that kind of conversation, it's a good conversation to have. I'm just selfish and I get tired of fucking talking about shit.
Well, Trevor's the first person that ever brought it up on here. We didn't even bring Trevor did. Trevor's like, I want to play a game with you guys. He's a guest on our show and he goes, I want to play a game with you guys. He said, I'm going to say white people do this, black people do whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, you fill in the blank. And he said, and don't be afraid to say whatever you want to say. And and the first thing he said, he goes, white people smoke Marlboro Reds, black people smoke. And Stephen immediately said, Newports. Right.
Right.
And that started the conversation. But from then on, it's been off to the races.
Well, his whole thing is everybody's racist. That is
part of saying everything is a part. Everyone is a little bit racist, at least. Yeah, that's part of Trevor's thing.
Right, but not everyone has owned slaves. So, there's that delineation.
You don't have to own slaves to be racist.
No, but it goes a long way to proving you are.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Oh, God.
I don't know. But the thing is, though, I don't know. I'm not even going to go down that road.
I was going to change the subject. You're the one continuing.
I know. No, I had a thought
you don't want to talk about.
Well, it wasn't about that specific thing. It was just in general.
I was just going to.
It was about me being a selfish dick and basically how I have no emotional empathy for anyone else. So I really only care about what's going on in front of me if it interests me. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna step it up a notch when you come to our show because we're multicultural over there. So it'll be interesting to see how you do the rest of it, not just the blacks.
Plight of the Asian man.
Oh my God.
and the Hispanic man. So yeah, we got a lot to cover.
I know a Hispanic.
We're gonna talk about what it's like to be a squab in America. I'm telling you. Now does he listen to your show?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he absolutely.
I'm gonna shit all over him.
Yeah, I'm sure he will listen to this show too. So go for it.
Yeah, squab. Absolutely. I don't know you, man, but fucking. I think I nut up or shut up, but I guess you shut up. So. No, I was gonna, in an attempt to sort of bring it around a little bit. As I was gonna ask you if you've seen the new Chappelle special, because I don't think Steven has still.
Nope, your dog just fucking shit.
Did she? She's had some rough gas tonight.
Oh goddamn!
No, I was gonna ask you if you've seen the new Chappelle special.
Yes, absolutely, I have seen it.
And what do you think about some of the outcry? Like, what do you? I'm interested to hear what people think compared to what I think.
I think it can't be avoided, especially these days. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think the same thing. I just think people aren't really hearing what he's saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because again, there's sometimes people just want to be angry about shit. Sometimes people just want to be angry about stuff, and then there's another part of it. Sometimes we're just fucking not going to agree.
For sure.
We're just not going to agree. And I think people have a hard time accepting sometimes we're just not going to agree. And I think people should be able to, whichever side you stand on, even if I say something you don't like, or you say something I don't like, or whatever, as long as you're not calling people to come bash my head in, you know what I mean? Or do evil things to me or to kill me or whatever, we can have a difference of opinion. Even if you wanted that, we could still have a difference of opinion. But what I'm saying is, it's not as if, it's a dog whistle to promote those things, because it's not. And I think there are a lot of people who, say that they're a victim of what he's talking about can honestly look at the situation and go, no, it's not what you think it is.
I feel like, honestly, I think a lot of it's manufactured for promotion of the special.
You think so?
Yep.
Why do you think that?
Just how the fucking media works, man. I guarantee you.
The media's not doing it though.
Who's publishing the story? How do you find out about the outcry?
Well, I understand that, but the outcry it's a legitimate outcry.
Yeah,
Are
that's a
you
real
saying the
thing.
media-
That's a real thing.
Are you saying that the media is paying all these people at Netflix
No,
to protest?
No. I'm saying that it gets amplified and made louder for promotional purposes.
It's pretty loud on Twitter, and that's not the media.
But, okay.
I mean, it's pretty loud in the social commentary. That's not media. The media is reporting on what's going on.
I consider
sure.
social media still media, dude.
Yeah, but I'm talking about individual people in the media. It's not.
But who started bitching about it? Who's kicked these trending topics off? I guarantee you it's people that had followers. It wasn't just everybody that watched the special suddenly were mad and no. That's not how it works. That's not how it trends. That's not how. So the algorithms don't allow that shit to happen.
You know, I don't. Okay. It just.
I'm not saying all the outcry is not there, but I'm saying it's stirred up and made worse for a bunch of reasons.
It's weird, right? Because what if somebody is really super offended for N-bombs being dropped?
Right.
And he drops a ton of those during the show, and people laugh, and people are having a good time, and they skip along, and they go in, and there's a group of people that said, I absolutely do not want that on because that speech and those words should not be allowed because it hurts us.
Right.
Well, one of the guys from the UK, Easy's one that's like, absolutely no one should say the N-word, white, black, Asian, it doesn't matter. That's an off limits word. Like he's like, I don't like when anyone uses that word, period. Don't use it at me. I don't like it. So I get what you're saying as far as like I could actually, imagine someone being that way about that.
I think we have a harder and harder time delineating between hate speech and hateful speech. They're very different things by definition.
Sure.
And I think people have a hard time. Like they will call hateful speech hate speech. They'll stamp it as that in a fucking heartbeat.
Sure, but when the topic of free speech comes up, that's all got to be free.
Right.
It's all got to be allowed.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about with people, how they receive and a lot of the outcry.
Right, but I don't even think what any of the stuff he said in that special was hateful or hate.
I'm talking about interpretation, and I'm saying people are delineating between the two.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
they'll take offensive speech as hate. They'll call it hate speech.
Right, but it sounded as though you're saying like they'll say hateful speech is hate speech, and I'm saying I don't think it was either with him. No,
not with him specifically.
Okay,
I just an issue. We have a very big issue with verbiage, right? Like words that are used and words that can be offensive. Like we don't want, if it's offensive to me, I don't want anybody else to use it.
Right.
And then I'll cry fucking hate speech if I feel like it's a slander against my sexual orientation, my race, whatever the case may be. And the fact is, it's fucking not. It might be hateful, but it's not hate speech. It's not hate speech until you start calling for, somebody to fucking get killed because of whatever the case may be. Like that, when you start inciting violence is when it becomes hate speech. But anyway, again, it comes down to that whole, the outcry for that is because of whatever jokes he made, as opposed to just not listening to it. You want Netflix to pull it. It's become this, my opinion and what I feel is right and wrong is more valid than what you think is right and wrong, and you should bow to my whim. But we're all free here.
Well, it's like Evan said. I mean, they've called it a dog whistle and it's not. It's just not. I mean, if anything, if any group of people were going to be offended by what any of the stuff he said, I think white people would be. But even that, you're not listening to what he's saying. If you're white and you're offended by what he said, you're still not listening to what he said, because he didn't lash out at white people. It's certain kind of white people. He just used the transgender community as the example.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard for us to talk about because you didn't watch the special yet. So,
do your homework, Steven. Pull your weight.
Do your research. Do your research before you open your mouth, you cisgendered, heteronormative white male.
But it's like we make fun of that, and he makes those jokes, and there is an. I'm not saying that there's no, because he's made other jokes, not in that special, transgender or whatever. But the tricky part with that, specifically with that people group, is you already rolling your eyes at me?
No,
you fucking cunt. I'm saying cunt a lot tonight. It's my word of the day.
It's okay.
But no, I feel like we've normalized. There's something that community has pushed that they've been moderately successful at, not necessarily in specifics, in specifics, but in people's minds,
Mhm.
where they've managed to put their struggles and things they deal with equal to racial issues. Like that's been a big push, right?
Mhm.
Is my
Mhm.
sexual orientation? It's just like I
It's
didn't
just like
choose it, just
right.
like you
Yeah.
didn't choose to be black, right?
Yeah. Right. Right.
And that's not the fucking case at all. And being
Right.
older, we're like, no, fuck that. That's fucking ridiculous. But as a young person growing up, like they think that that's an honest to God belief that they have, right or wrong. That's how they see it. And so when they would view that, I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit, right? So, but going in
Sure.
and say you're
It's about time. I'm always one
right.
doing that.
But say you're going in as a black man and you're going to see a comedian and he's
Oh, I'm sorry.
My-
I'm sorry. Go on. Continue.
right. Yeah, Michael Richards. No, but I'm just saying, like, if their whole bit was based on the struggles of like as a white dude,
Mhm.
there'd be a lot of outrage, and rightfully fucking so, right? But comparatively, a young person that's what they think that they're equal, they're not. If they think they are, they're taking the same level of offense, even though
Right.
they have no reason to, because they've been conditioned to think that way.
Sure.
Right. And so who's at fucking fault? It's the goddamn us, the people that raised those little fucking bitchy ass motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And there has to be a conversation, because a lot of the younger ones, they're listening to these older motherfuckers that are just bitter and hateful and whatever. I don't know what's the solution to that. Like, I understand the outcry if that's generally how they view what's going on, right?
Yeah.
If that's how they perceive it.
We kind of had that same conversation too on our last episode, and just like I said then, it's like, you know, as a black person, I can hear a comedian, a white comedian, or anyone else make a joke about black people, and as long as it's witty and there's
Right.
a purpose to the joke, you know what
It's
I mean?
intent.
It's then it's funny as hell and it's laugh. Now we're not just talking about hacks that are just dropping N-bombs or being racist for no
100%.
reason at all.
You're also
that's not
older
funny.
and more mature, and you've experienced some shit.
Well,
You're not a 20-year-old idealistic kid that's been fed one
Mhm.
thing.
Well,
for
I
most
mean,
of
I
your
was
life.
going to use the example of Louis C.K. I mean, he had the joke
Yeah.
like hard R said the N word.
Yeah.
And there was no outcry that I can recall
Mhm.
about it. He also had the blessing of Chris Rock, but I
Mhm.
mean, you know, I don't.
Yeah, I guess taking even outside of comedy, my point is like you have young people that are growing up believing that this is true, that these two things are the same.
Sure.
Right? That racial injustice and sexual orientation opinions are the same. They think they're the same. They've been viewed. They don't know any better, and nobody's telling them any differently. They're not being educated with that shit. They're only being fed because they're getting all their shit off of social media, off of Twitter, in the
Well,
fucking
colleges are also bowing to them as well.
right.
I mean,
But they live in this algorithmic bubble that everything that they like, everything they see gets fed back to them. There's never any outside opinion.
Yeah.
And so this is their truth. I know you hate that term, but to them, this is what's true. It's their perception. It's what they believe. It's all they know.
no, I get it.
So
that is what they would say
what's
is
the
their
solution
truth.
to that?
Sure.
Then is what I'm saying. It's because a lot of these people are the ones that are having the outcry for this shit to get canceled, because to them, it's no different than have somebody going on and just being a racist motherfucker.
I mean, I think the solution is people like my oldest son, who's 25,
Mhm.
who completely gets and understands what Dave Chappelle is saying.
Mhm.
And he's also very progressive and very much
yeah.
in the camp of sexual orientation
It's education
and
is
gender
where it comes
identity
from.
or whatever. Like, he's on board with all that, but he also understands what Chappelle is talking about
Right.
and the truth in
Yeah.
the comedy there. I think it's going to take those people deciding to not be afraid to stand up and go, no, this is what he's saying,
agree.
and this is not. But again, most of that age group are afraid to do that.
Right.
Yeah, you got to get to a point where you don't have to specifically say I'm either all the way on this side or all the way on that side. You know,
I think it's getting harder and harder.
I think it's going to take a 25, 26-year-old Dave Chappelle right now to do that.
Yeah.
It's going to take someone, a celebrity, whether even if it's comedy or not. But I mean, I don't know. Imagine if Chappelle's show was starting right now and the outcry that there would be. But the young people would also glom onto him to
there
an
was some outcry
extent.
when the initial
There
Chappelle
was,
does
but I'm saying I think some young people would glom onto that and that person could then bridge that gap.
I don't know, man.
But
I think people just suck, and it's always gonna suck, and
Oh,
everything's always gonna fucking.
there's
burn
always
out.
going to be issues. It just has to
Yeah.
be,
What I'm saying is, I don't think the issues are going to get better at any point in
I
time.
don't think so either, because it's a loud minority of people.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only that; it's also just fucking shitty ass human nature, right? I mean,
exactly. Well, because we're gonna
Yeah.
die soon, and then the next generation is gonna have their own fucking shit, and it's just gonna be a sick. That's why I always make the comment, and it drives kids. I said it doesn't matter. None of it fucking matters. It doesn't, and I think that might be boiling back down to what I was saying as far as having the racial conversations, because they matter in the moment in our lifetimes, but in the scheme of the fucking universe and existence, doesn't matter.
No, but I
It
think
doesn't fucking matter.
that, and one of the reasons I say, and I just as you said that had this epiphany, is like the reason I say it matters is because it matters to my comfort right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
But that's what I was gonna say. Like my whole thing, the only reason I believe in being kindness and not just fucking do what I want, is because the world's already a shitty place, right? And if I can do some shit that makes your life less shitty and my life less shitty in the process, then we should do it, because it's shitty for all of us. Why not make it less shitty for all of us?
Yeah.
But and that's on the short scale, right? It's selfishness. But if it's what's the word I want to look? So selfishness through kindness. Right? Like if I'm kind to you and you're happy, then you're gonna be kinder to me, and that makes my life a hell of a lot easier. Like, why don't I fucking murder people? Because it's very inconvenient to go to jail, and that's gonna that's gonna keep me from doing a bunch of other shit that I want to do. No, I'm serious. Like, what keeps me from committing crime?
I mean, that's one of Ricky Gervais's things in his show Afterlife about atheism. One of the people in it says, "You don't believe in God, right?" No, I don't. In which he, I mean, it's longer. It's more like, well, you don't believe in this God and this God and this God, like. We're the same, except there's one more God that I don't believe in. Right. That's what he says. But she says to him, well, why don't you just go around raping and killing as much as you want? And he said, I do. And she says, what do you mean? She's like, I do rape and kill as much as I want, which is to say I don't do it at all, because I shouldn't do that. And I don't want to do that. Right. And like, so that kind of, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, but even taking that, like I said, larger scale, go historically speaking, in any empire, whether it's been like Romans, with the Greeks, or fucking when things were more tribal, and like the dynasties in Japan, like they have their own fucking pockets of issues, right? Whatever is going on in their bubble, in that kingdom, and whatever, that's all the fuck they care about. There's travesties going on everywhere the fuck else. They're way, way worse than what's going on here, but it doesn't matter because it's not in our bubble. And that doesn't mean it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter in our immediate circle, but in the scheme of life, or again, the cyclical nature of the universe of creation and destruction and death and being reborn, it doesn't matter, because it's going to be reset, and it's going to be some other people group that's going to be oppressed fucking 1,000 years from now.
Yeah, but if you stand back and look at the stuff that's going on specifically in the United States, you look at all the fucking bullshit we're wasting time on, all the stupid, silly things we're fighting over, all this stupid, silly shit that it's very, very simple to fix, and better situations that we can put ourselves in, and we refuse to it. We refuse to do it.
I mean, there's some,
because that would require somebody to be like, you know what, I'm wrong.
I'm wrong. Yes, 100%.
Well, I mean, there's somebody I listen to pretty regularly, and one of his famous things is like, we're out of problems. If this is what we're choosing to focus on, then that means we don't really have problems in this country, which we all know to not be real, not to be true. But it's like, that's the point, is like, you really are choosing to focus on this right now, then that means that this other stuff is not an important situation. So we're number one, truly, if that's the case. I mean, it's
but again, like I said, I like big picture, right? Like it's not going to matter in 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years.
No, I agree with that. It's not. I mean, aside from hopefully that people will learn some from me, because people do learn some from history.
Yeah, kind of.
We do. I mean, we don't have slavery in this country anymore.
In this country.
But
we do have.
We don't have open slavery. Yeah, we don't have open slavery.
Sure. Well, what would you guys consider slavery in this country?
There
Honestly,
is.
Go ahead.
No, there's still slavery going on where people are holding people against their will and forcing them to work or do their bidding, whatever their bidding may be, and keeping them until they're tired of them or done with them. I mean, it's the same thing. That is going on.
But we're in the U.S.
Yeah, man.
Where's that? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm
Quite
saying
No, it may
I
not.
don't
It may
know.
not even be on a. It may not be on a mass scale where there's like, I've got 100 folks that I'm doing that to. But there are pockets of place, I'm sure, in every single state in this country where somebody is being held against their will to either be made to work somewhere or sex slave or anything else that they're doing. People have servants in their homes that they're forcing to do work for little or no pay at all. All that shit is all of that shit is going on. And periodically you will see stories where someone is caught, or it is found out.
But that's what I'm saying. When you said sex trafficking, that's because that's illegal.
No. No, I know. I said besides sex trafficking, it is still going on.
For sure.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. I'm just saying, but that's one easy example to throw out. You know what I mean? That's
right.
That's
sure. But that's illegal. We're trying, at least on at face value.
Illegal.
What did you say?
Is that regular slavery is illegal?
Sure, but I'm saying there is no no one being
decaf.
No one is legally being bought and sold into work without pay in this country legally.
Bullshit.
Who's being
legally? So
that's what you were talking about. Okay, that's a difference of what you were talking about.
I'm not saying that no one holds people against their will. Okay. There's definitely people breaking the law.
I would argue, and this is that our economic society or structure is a form of slavery to certain classes.
I mean, I feel like that's a slap in the face to anybody that went through actual slavery.
No.
Because Colin Kaepernick calls the NFL and the combine and whatever the new form of slavery, and that's not at all a form of slavery.
But see, you're automatically comparing like what I'm talking about. It's a type of, not the same as, right? Slavery by definition, right, is being owned by something, forced to work. I can look up the exact definition you want, but it's not, it doesn't have to be a racial slave. Like,
no, I understand
racially based slavery.
Racially based,
and that doesn't mean like one is better than the other. Like I'm saying, like one is obviously way worse,
but one's definitely better than the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that modern slavery is as bad as actual like owning people stuff, but that doesn't mean it's not.
Do you have the option in this modern thing of quitting?
Not if you want to live and pay bills and have a house, and you don't want to be homeless and live on the street. You have a choice, but it's either you work your whole life to fucking survive and eat without an option. You can't like.
But I guess my thing is like, how is that slavery?
Because you're owned by something. Is my point.
I disagree.
It's more of an abstract thing. It's not like an individual, but I mean that's just part of how things work. But you're always indebted and owned by something, depending on where your alliances lie or whatever with your life.
Well, I mean,
and again, I'm not comparing the two,
but I feel like we are comparing the two.
No.
Wait, okay. Are you saying that? And I haven't seen. I know Colin's thing is on Netflix, and I haven't seen it yet. But are you saying that?
All of it. I've seen a little part. He basically I haven't seen all of it. I actually haven't physically watched any of it. I've heard the audio from it.
Okay.
And it was along the lines of that the NFL Combine is slavery. It's basically saying it's equal to what slavery was, the slave auctions. Like that's not even remotely the same thing.
Now, like, does it? You said he said
a slave auction that when someone bought you, they paid you millions of dollars to go in. Well, it's not the same.
I retract my statement. Right. I am incorrect.
What? I don't know what you're
so the actual definition of a slave is a person who is the legal property of another and is forced to obey them. Now, slavery can be working hard or slave away as a verb, but so it's owned by another person. So I'm incorrect with my assumption of the definition. So I would say we may be in a constant state of indentured servitude. Would be a much better comparison.
And I will completely agree with that.
So wait, so does that not still play into Colin's statement then that he said it's a modern day?
No, slavery? Because it's not slavery at all. No one making you go and do that. You have a choice.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Colin's also spinning it as a racial thing, and it's not. I mean, it's obviously any race of person that wants to be in the NFL goes through the combine. I mean, and goes through an evaluation and gets poked and prodded by the team doctors and things like that. But when you come out the other end, you get paid millions of dollars to play a sport.
Right.
It's not the same thing as slavery.
So money changes it.
I think it's, but I think it's but personally, and I don't. Maybe I just don't have a leg to stand on. But if white people had been the ones that went through slavery, I would feel like that is a slap in the face to call that modern day slavery.
I have a hard time with this one.
I gotta
tell you. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, because I want to see exactly what he means by saying modern day, which I think is the key word or the key phrase that he's saying.
I think maybe I'm misunderstanding Colin, but it sounds to me as though he's saying it's slavery in the modern day. It's not like he's saying it's a new slavery. I don't think, and if he does mean it that way, then I'm completely misunderstanding him. But I still think it's not a good comparison.
I get comparison. Yeah, maybe we should watch the whole thing and see exactly what he means before we make a comment on it like that.
See, I have an issue
because if he's talking about the poking and the prodding and you own me if I want to do this, I understand what you're saying with you don't have to do that. But they're saying within these confines, because you could say my job, is modern day slavery.
Want to play in the NFL, you have to.
Yeah, there's certain things. Yeah, exactly. There's certain things that you have to do.
But think about it, and it's a similar thing. It's adjacent to slavery. What I'm going to say is but when a team pays a contract to a player, they're buying that talent to play on the field. They have to know that person's healthy. They need to know, does that person already have a cracked vertebrae?
Yeah.
That when he goes out there and he goes across the middle and gets hit by a free safety one time, that he's done. And now they're out, $20 million guaranteed money in a contract or whatever. That's
that makes
normal.
Sense. Yeah.
When you buy a horse or anything like that, you go through that kind of stuff. It's not the same it's just not the same as slavery. It's not the same.
I think a lot of people get caught up though as the verbiage, because when you say slavery, and in this instance, I'm sure that's what he was referring to or comparing to. But I have a hard time. I hate the delineation that it's automatically assumed like plantation slavery. Like to me, slavery
it gets compared to that.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah,
it can compare that, but I hate it. It drives me fucking crazy because slavery is a thing, right? It's not confined. Granted, in most recent history, it is absolutely 100% racial in America, right? But as a concept and what it is, that's a universal thing that's existed since pretty much the beginning of time.
Yeah, I mean,
and so it's hard. Like, I don't like having conversations about it because you can't have a conversation talking about any type of slavery without it automatically being brought back to what people think traditionally in modern times. Understandably so, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It just annoys me. This is an annoyance. I wasn't going anywhere with that other than the fact that the fucking thing is, I hate when people take one word and fucking want to take it and that's it.
Yeah, but in this situation, that one word is what holds the power.
The comparison is.
No, the word slavery.
Right.
You throw the words. It's like throwing the word Nazi out at somebody that is on the right.
I hate that one word is given that much because it's just a fucking word. That means
I understand that, but that's the society we live in.
So wait a minute. Do you guys agree or disagree that Colin was done dirty by the NFL?
I completely agree that Colin was done dirty by the NFL.
Okay.
I don't even know who he is.
Okay.
No, I knew you wouldn't know, but I completely agree he was done dirty.
Right.
But I also don't think he's as good as his lawyers have made him out to be. But I do think he was done dirty.
Okay.
But I think he would be on an active NFL team right now if he were still, quote, allowed to be in the NFL? Absolutely.
Yeah, of course he would. You don't somebody you don't take somebody to the Super Bowl, and then the very next year, all of a sudden you're not good enough to play.
No, I completely agree with that. That's 100%.
So
right. I completely agree. I just disagree with a lot of the things he says. But I do think he was done dirty with the NFL. But I can, I have at least enough in me to be able to separate the two. Yeah.
Right.
Not with Colin, probably more than that. But no. I can differentiate. I can say I disagree with you on this, but I also believe you were done wrong.
Right.
So,
and
but I'm also a big fan of his lawyer as well. I really like his lawyer.
Yeah.
No, he is a fucking beast.
Okay.
Mark Garrigus is a fucking beast.
So
he represented Scott Peterson.
See,
So-
I don't follow sports like this. I don't know all this stuff. You got to talk to Joel. You got to talk to Joel or Benny. They know all this stuff, and certainly Swap.
I just know Mark Garrigus because I used to listen to a podcast that he did.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Anyway,
yeah. Okay. Well, here's a question, and this is that's for both of you, I guess. But as far as like the racial tension or racial conversations and these things, fuck, how did I want to word that? I'm trying to word it so.
If you need to think about it, because I got a question as well.
Okay, as far as stuff, so I think we all agree that these conversations are sometimes necessary and needed. They're good to have,
sure,
right? Do you think that as a whole they're productive, and other than for our own edification or some people that might listen, are they beneficial to the whole? Do they matter?
It depends on what you consider to matter.
So where we're at now in our society, where we're going, all this shit, does this make a difference at all other than to our immediate bubbles?
Think if we're willing to continue this conversation away from the three of us, then yes. If I learn something from you or I learn something from Evan and I'm willing to continue that outside of the three of us, then yes, it matters. But based on what you believe,
based on that, I'm just wanting your opinions.
Based on what you believe that nothing really matters in the grand scheme of things in 1,000 years, does what we're talking about tonight matter? Then no.
Okay.
But in current society, in an attempt to make things better,
maybe a better way where are these types of conversations in our pockets meaningful? I guess
I think it is, because I think if anyone listens to this and learns something, that matters and makes a difference. Okay. If I learn something, it matters and makes a difference. Yep. Especially if I'm willing to continue this conversation with other people outside of this.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, Joey. And it does, Stephen, because the conversations or that seed has to be planted from somewhere. Because if you're in that same circle that's doing that same circle jerk bullshit, it's never going to change. It's never going to be different. So it has to be seeded from somewhere. And if it's this small conversation that starts here and gets passed along to that, or somebody else in your family has a different way of thinking and they're able to introduce that, and then you start thinking about it and then you start having the conversation with other people. Yes, it absolutely matters. It also absolutely matters. And it's only going to make changes when people who have the powers and the authorities to make change make that change accordingly.
Yeah.
And
I agree, and I'm not arguing at all. I was just curious on the, on the perspective, on the viewpoints, because mine tends to differ a lot with this shit. So
sure,
right.
You look at things on the grand scheme of a millennia from now, does it matter? And I look at things of like, what's better for currently where I live.
No, I understand that.
It's a very selfish thought that I have.
No, I got that. Well, I have a part 2 to that question actually, and it's specifically for Evan. I don't know how often with other podcasts, other people you talk to, you have conversations like this, but is there ever a part of you that feels like it's placating a bunch of white dudes to make them feel like that they're whatever, like, oh, hey, we want to talk about the shit. I'll answer their questions and we'll do that.
Make us feel good.
Yeah. I mean, is there ever an element of that? Honestly.
No, there's
something I wonder a lot. Like, when we have these racial conversations, if guys are like, well, fuck, these guys, white guys actually want to talk about it. Like, guess we'll fucking talk about it.
Right. No, I think it's different. I think you genuinely, like you said, people vet you guys and see what's happened. The same thing that we did, before we came on the show the first time or whatever. And I think you get a feel from what people's purpose is and where they're coming from. And when you know that that's from a decent place, it's not a problem and it's not an issue and there should be more of it.
I got you. Okay. That's something I've been curious about. And I know everybody has different opinions on it, but like for me, just trying to think logically, right? Reversing the situation, trying to put myself as in your shoes to have these conversations. There'd be a part of me that'd be like, yeah, I want to talk about this stuff. But part of me would be like, I don't fucking want to talk about this shit with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's gonna be, both of those things in my brain.
Sure.
Just gonna realistically do it. And not because I'm uncomfortable, just because it's like, we can have the conversation, but you're not going to fucking get it. So, go fuck yourself.
No, but you know what though, Joey, it does. And believe it or not, it's almost, I'm sorry, Steven. I'm sorry.
God damn it.
You guys, it's the glasses. I can't tell. No, just think about
all
it.
White people need to like
Dude, the 1960s were not that long ago. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
It was a completely different country. It was a completely different world 100%. Not that long ago. And I think people forget that. I think people forget that there are people still around then that did those horrible things and wanted those horrible rules and things to be in place. That are still around now.
We're less than 4 generations removed from actual slavery.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
That's not
it's kind
that
of
long ago.
Right.
Anytime I think about this, makes me it kind of like, I don't know, tweaks my hard drive a little bit when I think about like, no, it didn't trigger me. But it's like, if you really think about a modern day thing, big modern day thing that happened, because we think of slavery as being way back when.
It's
not, but I'm saying, and we didn't live through it,
but that reality is more understood by people that had families that were in that.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, we are. All right, so look at the Holocaust, because that's what I would say is the big thing.
The Holocaust,
even though we didn't, if you believe it's even real. No, I'm just saying, like, that's the big thing that we learned about it. We learned about slavery and things like that, but we really learned about the Holocaust was for people like, because I think Evan, I think we're about the same age. So
I think a little bit older.
I think that the tag.
Well, we're both 40, so I'm assuming you're around 40, 41. So
the name of this episode.
Thank you.
Evan denies the Holocaust.
I'm 45.
The name of the episode, 45. Shit, dude.
Holy shit! I would have never guessed that.
But the name
Black don't crack, man.
The name of this episode needs to be Evan denied the Holocaust. That's the name
no. But what I was going to say is, if you think about, and maybe this is not a big deal to YouTube, but it is to me. Like, it's like a fuck me, man. But like, we're farther away from the Holocaust than the people that were alive during the Holocaust were from slavery. They were closer to the time of slavery than we are to the Holocaust.
Yeah.
And the Holocaust still feels like a recent thing, even though we didn't live through it, but it still feels like a very modern, recent thing that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's
because it's a post-industrial age.
It's just a crazy thing. Like, to think that
not age,
the Holocaust was closer to the time of slavery in the U.S. than we are to the Holocaust. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Fucking autistic bastard.
Maybe.
You guys ever make it? You guys ever make it to DC? You should definitely go check out the Holocaust Museum.
I want to go.
It's going to take you 4 hours to get through it, but it's not going to feel like it. But
that kind of shit is like, I'm into that kind of like, to go read that, because I have heard you really can kind of that it really invokes some emotion.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
Now I'm interested in going.
Yeah,
test my metal.
I hear the African American Museum, the latest biggest one is really nice too, but we got to get around to getting in there. I guess it's, times now it's slowed down. It hasn't been open that long, maybe a year or two now, but it was hard as shit to try to get in there when it first opened. But yeah, the word is that is absolutely amazing too. So you guys have to put those on your stops if you ever get out to the great Northeast.
I was in DC a few weeks ago. It's been a couple.
I haven't been to DC in a long time.
Really? Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you tell us, Joey? I mean, Steven?
He doesn't keep in touch with anyone.
Yeah.
If you get a response from us that's not email, it's probably coming from me.
No, here's the thing. I didn't know you guys then, because I am all about being like, hey, I'm here tonight. What are you doing? And just to see, that's testing you to see what our relationship is really like. Because if you're like, oh, yeah, we'll totally do this, then I know that you don't really, I don't know. But if you're willing to tell me, hey, go fuck yourself, it's last minute, then I'm like, okay, they're a good dude. So, it's how to gauge things. But no,
I was around DC a couple of years ago, but not in DC. I was in Virginia, in Herndon, Virginia. So,
that's near too. Yeah. All that's this area. All that's Northern Virginia, dude. Yeah. Herndon's a little further out, but I mean, it's not that far out. It's still considered local. So
I hated driving to DC when I lived in Baltimore. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
So I have a question, because I've heard a lot of people.
Evan's ready to go. Look at him; he's miserable.
No, not at all. I'm surprised we've gone this long.
No, because this will be a two-parter.
Yep, two-parter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
This will, that means that at one point during the week we're going to have to get together remotely to go over NFL picks.
God damn it!
Well, that's just the way it is, man.
Damn it! I hate. Why did I agree to these fucking stupid things?
I don't know.
It's because hopefully deep down, I hope by just guessing I beat you.
I know
what it
that's
boils
what
down
you
to.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anyway, you'll, by the way, only be our second single guest with the 2-part episode.
Yeah, really, honestly. So I've heard people say this, and I think it's an asinine statement, but I wanted to know what you guys thought about this. But I heard someone say like that currently we live in the US, this is the most racist we've ever been in the United States. And I wanted to know what you guys thought about that.
I think we live in the most how do I want to word this? Because our perception of what racism really is so skewed. I feel like people believe that, but it's absolutely not true.
Oh yeah, I think people believe it.
No, absolutely not. The reason why people think that it is because of technology. Because now instead of just hearing about what's happening in my city or my town, I can hear about every single city and town across the country immediately.
And you can hear individual people in those individual towns that are most of the time fucking stupid.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's the same thing. It's the same. I think the way that society has been forced to deal with it is different, but the amount of it is not different. No. It's still going on. It's been going on, but people are handling things a little bit different because there have been some people that have had conversations and decided to change laws and do better.
Yeah,
more needs to be done, but it's not any different. We're just hearing about it more because there's more avenues to hear about it. That's all.
I would say that even though avenues are illegal and you might have more people open to talk, I feel like it's. I don't even know how to word it, right? Because like you can't, racism isn't legal, so to speak, right? But it's still just as prevalent.
Well, it's not legal or illegal.
But I mean by legal, there's no legal expression of it. Like you can't be like, hey, you can't eat in my diner. You have to drink out of that water fountain. Oh, hey, I own you now. Go work in my fields. Like you can't do that. But there's still people that fucking would in a heartbeat. I feel like there are quite a few people that would in a heartbeat. At a minimum, if they wouldn't buy somebody, they'd be like, yeah, you can get the fuck out of here. We don't want you around here. And I feel like that's deep. That's fucking deep rooted, man.
Yeah. There's a restaurant.
I don't know if Evan thinks that or not, but I mean, I was just saying I've been in the South long enough to know that shit runs, even if it's passive. If it's passive, I can tell you right now, like I don't consider my family to be like we joked about it. Like I'll take my
yeah. Sure. They have some prejudiced views.
No. Because if you boil it down, like I'll just fuck it. Like my mom and dad, right? They never taught me to hate anybody. They would give anybody come to dinner, like type treating anybody different. They'd give somebody the clothes off their back. No problem doing any of that. But if you boiled it down far enough and you said, maybe not directly, but if you could remove the African-American culture, and by culture, I mean the black people, and put them somewhere else. Now they would say just the ones that don't work, but they'd want them out. I can guarantee fucking to you. And that, because that's what's
But would they feel the same way about white people that don't work?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't know, but it'd be the same way, but it's not just like Mexicans as well.
Yeah.
Like the world, like subversively, again, not outwardly, but if you dug down far enough, and I think this is a lot of people in the South. Like, I don't have a problem with no black people, blah, 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 blah. You dig down far enough, deep down, they feel like if the cultures could be completely separated, their culture would be better off. I guarantee fucking to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that say that. I don't know. You know what? It's really weird. I had a friend of mine. He's still a great friend of mine to this day. And white guy, high school friend of mine, and I was great buddies. Used to go over to his house all the time, visit with his parents. It was to the point where, like, even if he wasn't around, I would go hang out with his parents and talk to them. You know, great relationship. They love me like I was their own son. I love them like they were my own parents. And then one day he and I were there and we were talking with his mom, and he was talking about another friend of mine that had another white friend of ours that had a black girlfriend. And his mom was like, I just don't think that's right. I just think that blacks should be with blacks and whites should be. And it blew my fucking mind that she had that view of things where it's okay. You can be friends. We can trust you. You're like a son to us. But when it comes to that race mixing,
Nope. Yeah, I dealt with that in high school when my wife and I started dating. Like, she came to see a baseball game that I was playing in, and it's interesting because she's 2 years older than I. She was 2 grades ahead of me. She's a year and a half older than me.
That
But
cougar
anyway,
puss.
that's right. She would come after she graduated high school. When I was a senior in high school, on a Friday, she would come. You know, we lived about 45 minutes away from each other. She would come down and be waiting in the parking lot for me after school. And all the black guys I went to school with, would come up to me and would be like, "Hey, is that your cousin? What's going on here?"
Right.
And they're like, "No, that's my girlfriend." But she came to a baseball game one time, and some friends of mine said, "Is that your girlfriend?" It's like, "Yeah." And I was like, it was one of those ones like, "Hell yeah, that's my girlfriend." Like, and one of the guys said, "We don't like that kind of thing around here."
Yep.
And my thought was like, what do you mean we? And around here, I'm part of the we, and I'm from around.
Right.
I don't understand. Like that made zero sense to me.
Well, what I found a lot of times, and I'm not painting everyone, but I'm saying a lot of the people I know that'll say, "Well, I ain't racist," but what it is on an individual basis, they might love you to death, but as a culture, not so much. Like it's like this threat, like, oh, you let a lot of black people here, there's going to be gangs, there's going to be violence, there's going to be this. So as long as you're acting the way that's appropriate,
comfortable for them,
comfortable for them, because I've talked to my sister the same conversation. Like she's like, well, them and how they do when they get like they just because she doesn't understand like the black family dynamic. Which, granted, I'm not saying I understand it, but I mean, it's not the same as the four of us sitting on grandma's porch sipping lemonade and everybody. It's the different dynamic, so it's weird. So we don't want it. You're right. You know what I mean? Like it's foreign. So we don't want it. It's that whole. It's the same.
No, I get it because it's so. Like I've said this before. I don't know if I've said this here before, but
I want to hear Evan's laughing. I want to
go ahead, Evan. Yeah.
No, I just think sometimes people think that we're so much different, and really we're not.
But that's just what I was thinking.
Right. They think that it's
preconceived.
There's been,
if anything, people are regional, and they're more of the same than they know that they are. You know what I mean? Well, I don't say that it all just happens in the South, because there's a lot of northern states and whatever, and they got racist shit going on too. Sure. But people have this bias that is built into them that thinks that automatically something is different and not the same, and we cannot be cohesive because it's different. And they tell themselves that, and they make themselves believe that, and it causes an issue and a problem.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, how many times have you heard someone say, "Well, that's some white guy shit"? Yeah, no, but I mean, the point not the point, but something I was going to say is like, and I can't remember if I've ever said it on here or not, but there's only been ever one time in my life that I've been in an area that I got legitimately scared. Mm-hmm. And afterwards I thought back to things, and I thought about, wow, we're like, people really are the same. And Evan just said, like, we're very much the same. Like you just said, sitting on our grandmother's porch, drinking lemonade. I drove through a neighborhood in the south side of Chicago because I wanted to see the house from the show Shameless. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to see the house. Mm-hmm. And I know it was there. And me and my wife, my daughter, we watched the show and wanted to drive by and get a picture of it. I drove through that neighborhood, and everyone in that neighborhood knew I didn't belong there. And for good or for bad, scared the shit out of me, and I went the wrong way down a one-way street to get the fuck out of that neighborhood. I did. Call it racist, call it whatever. I don't know. But afterwards I thought about, but people in the neighborhood were doing the same thing. Sitting on the front porch. Yeah. Maybe they're not drinking lemonade, whatever.
What they're like, what they fill, the gaps they fill in their brain because they don't know that's what changes.
No, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's
actually,
the point.
I would say I was talking to I had this conversation with Amanda not long ago, and I had this little thing that clicked in my brain as far as perception and things that are different versus the same, whatever, but that a lot of, because there's certain stereotypes that go with like Southern, like redneck, like trailer park men, right? Mm-hmm. And also like impoverished, like projects, black dudes. Mm-hmm. And like and they're fucking the same, expressed differently. They don't believe in showing emotion. They suck at them, deal with it. There's no therapy to talk about. There's a lot of fucking anti-gay, like you're not fucking gay. You do what you got to do. There's, as far as the outlook and how they view male roles in society are almost fucking identical. They're expressed differently, but the viewpoints are the same. And there's this, I don't fucking get it. It's crazy to me how much is there, but that's a lot of males in general, but any type of alpha male thought process, regardless of race, is the same fucking thing. But nobody can see that shit because it expresses itself a little bit differently in each one.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's weird because, you're taught to keep a stiff upper lip. You don't show weakness. You're in a bitch. You fucking deal with your shit. You don't talk about it. You move forward, and don't you fucking let another dude like I'm not queer. Fuck you. That type of shit.
That's an interesting thing, the whole gay, thing. And the people that I know that are willing to joke around, like, because Stephen and I'll joke around about that, shit all the time. Like, well, the joke will come out every once in a while that we just jerk each other off under the table while we're having a show or whatever. But like, right. I don't. It does seem in the deep South it's a thing, but the majority of black guys that I'm friends with, the gay joking around is not like no, like no, you don't. No, I'm not fucking gay. Whatever. Like, what is that? Like, what is that? I mean, where does that come from? Because I don't know. Because I do view white people and black people and all cultures really very, very similar. There's little nuances here and there, but like we've been saying, like we're the same. It just presents slightly differently from what Evan said, from region to region. I mean, East Tennessee has words that we use. Yeah, I'm not from East Tennessee, but East Tennessee has words for cutting the grass and things like that West Tennessee doesn't use. So, I mean, we're region to region in the United States. It's different, but that's one thing I've never understood.
I can, outside that specifically, it's like what it boils down to is humans are humans, right? We're all the fucking same. Just how we express things are a little bit differently, but all we see are those differences and not the similarities. But on what you said, I think just how we're raised, especially if you go back a couple generations, is like, if you're gay, it's fucking weakness. Like it's feminine. You're not going to be feminine. You're going to be a man. You're going to handle your shit. You're going to fight what you have to fight for. And anything less than that alpha masculinity is feminine. And if you're feminine, then you're worthless. That's what it comes down to. Like if you're gay, you're basically a bitch. And if you're a bitch, then you have no value outside of fucking making sandwiches.
Is that it? I mean, Evan, is that it? I mean, is that?
You want me to speak for all blacks right now, or?
I want you to speak from what I want you to speak from what you know.
No,
obviously Asians don't count in any of this.
Right. No, I would
have babies.
Right. I would say that I agree with Steven as far as the reasons why and the origins when it comes to being that way. And I think that's really what it is for everyone when they do that. The shift has come now where you're going, hey man, you got to look at this a different way, and that's a hurtful and that's an offensive thing, to people that are gay or this, that, and whatever. Where I think it is absolutely what Steven said, but now it's just like, hey, is that really gay? Can men, wear skirts if they want to, or wear fingernail polish if they want to, or wear their hair like women, or any of those things? No, huh?
I didn't say anything.
We didn't say anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Steven said something in it.
Steven said right.
I said right. Yeah.
Okay. I thought the audio clipped, but no, man. It was just really just that thing, being masculine, and that is the opposite of being masculine. And you want to be masculine, you want to be respected, you want to feel like you can handle yourself or handle other men or handle situations that calls for being a man and being tough. And it's one of those things. But I think there's a difference now too, Steven. There's no way in the world that you would ever treat someone that you knew was gay differently, meaning you wouldn't be mean to them. You wouldn't talk to
No.
them. You wouldn't be like, oh,
No.
you can't sit next to me. You know,
Yeah.
oh, we can't.
wouldn't be friends if we couldn't joke. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
not at all.
Right. And so again, I think it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, people feel like you have to be, just because I'm not a champion for your cause doesn't mean that I hate you.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
If that
Now
makes
I
sense.
will say in full transparency, like I had a guy I was stationed with. He was a good friend of mine, gay as fuck. Like one of his favorite jokes, like, dude, I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten anything like but cum all day. You know, and like he was fucking awesome. I love this kid. But there's still a part of me that I feel like I'm more manly than him just
Mhm.
because I'm not gay.
Mhm.
And does that mean I am? No, but my mind, that's still my perception. I would never treat him that way. I would never talk to him that way.
Mhm.
We're equals as far as I'm concerned. But in the back of my mind, because of how I was raised, whatever,
Mhm.
whether I know it's right, whether I know it's wrong, I still feel that way. That's
Right.
just there. That's because of that. I think that's the hard part for a lot of people, is overcoming that, is realizing that I might feel this way, but that doesn't make me right. And I can feel this way all I want, but I'm not going to treat someone according to how I feel. I'm going to treat them based on what I know to be right,
Yeah.
wrong, whatever the fucking case may be. But
Right.
that's, to me, is what separates us from fucking animals, is that ability to make choices outside of just what our instincts drive us toward. you know?
Yeah, it's really weird just grabbing onto the hate and being mad. There was a time like years and years ago, I needed a tie. Where was I? I was out of town doing something, and it was before I became good at tying ties. And I
Mhm.
stopped at a department store out of town to buy a tie, and I was like, "Fuck." My dad's not here to tie this for me. I don't remember. And I was running around the department store to find someone that could help me. And lo and behold, I found a guy who was in a very nice skirt and blouse and had his
Mhm.
nails done. And he tied my tie for me. And he was like, yeah, he was like, this is a nice tie. He was like, and how I tied this for you, Windsor and I. He was like, I used to wear them all the time when I dressed, you know, in male clothing and blah, 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 blah. So he hooked me up, got my thing right and gone. And it was just like, it wasn't harmful. It wasn't scary. I didn't
Right.
hate him. He didn't
Yeah.
hate me. I just needed help with the tie.
But that type of experience changes you, right?
Right.
When you have something that you might have at one time perceived as a threat show you kindness, it's
Mhm.
like, oh shit, okay, I
Mhm.
don't deserve this, but you know, there's part of you that clicks for. And
Yeah, because there are
I mean,
people that'll see that from a distance of like, I'm not going near him.
Yeah.
plus men are visually motivated, so if a gay dude tells you that you're hot, you're probably decent looking.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's a fucking compliment.
I'd much rather a gay guy hit on me or compliment me than a woman, because they mean that shit.
Yeah.
If they say it, they fucking mean it.
Yeah. Goddamn right.
Yeah. Not many people want my dick in them, but if a gay guy does, then,
Feeling good. Yeah.
no, I don't know. That's just, that question was just because
Yeah.
in all the places that I've ever worked my whole life, there were certain people that you could make gay jokes with,
Right.
and they were almost exclusively white.
Right. Well,
So-
I think some of it's age too, because
Probably.
like you're our age, like I'm sure you have a hard time every now
Fuck
and then.
that. He's older than us. He's
Right.
fucking
But
older.
But I'm saying, like, in my brain, there's times I'm like, I can't say that here, right?
Sure.
I sometimes choose to anyway. But the things that we find funny or ridiculous is partially because we've grown up at a time like, why don't you have a sense of humor? Like this, it's just a joke. It's
Right.
fucking not, you know,
Right.
like the old adage, like fucking, like, I don't know, I just can't remember what it is. Anyway, doesn't matter. Regardless, it's like it's a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so hard, type of thing. But
That's a thing that it's been hard for us to get an understanding, me and the kids to get an understanding with my wife, because my wife definitely thinks some things are off limits, and me and the kids are like, there's nothing
there's
sacred.
nothing off limits.
Nothing is beyond making a joke.
Right.
And so,
But anyway, but what I'm saying is, I don't know if you do, but I have a harder time sometimes empathizing when people are. I hate the word empathizing because I don't empathize, but I have a harder time understanding sometimes why people are offended by shit, because I'm like, it's not enough. Like the joke is offensive, but it's not directed towards you. Why the fuck are you so upset about
Right.
it? You know what I mean?
yeah,
That
because you
type of
can't.
thing.
Well, but
Mm.
I'm a firm believer you cannot be offended for someone.
No. I get
No,
that.
I know,
mean,
but you're saying the joke's not directed at you. Why are you offended?
no.
I'm
I don't.
saying
Yeah,
They're
I just,
offended because they think the
I
people
meant-
it's directed at would be.
No. I meant
offended.
not directed to you specifically.
Sure,
Right.
but still, it's the same thing. Like, it's not directed at you.
Right.
Why are you offended? Like, you can't be offended for the people.
But I'm
it's
saying, like,
directed
but
at.
our, like, okay, as an example, I worked with when I was working part time at Starbucks a few years ago.
Mhm.
There's this dude I worked with, my our age. He's like, well, I think he was a little, he's 42. Not then, he is now.
Yeah.
And he's been openly gay for like 20. So he was openly gay in the fucking like late 80s or through the like late 80s and 90s, right? So he dealt with some shit, right? As a gay dude that most gay kids now would never deal with. And he was awesome. Like he came up behind me one time. I was doing some shit, and he put his arms around me and he whispered at me. He goes, "You ever had your ass kicked by a faggot?" He said, he goes, "I'll beat that ass and then I'll fucking kiss you," and then just walked off. And I was like, "You don't get that anymore. This shit's hilarious." Like I thought it was great, but he was
funny.
But he had a sense of humor and would joke about it. I was like, you couldn't do that with anybody now. Like he couldn't. And he even told me, he's like, "Dude, I can't make these jokes with anybody anymore. People get like," he goes, "other gay dudes get super upset when I make fun of them being gay." And I'm like,
"Oh yeah, I mean,
I know, right?"
Gay guy before he moved away that used to go out with us pretty often, and
we've not gotten a fight with him that night though.
Not with him.
No.
In his defense,
with alongside him.
Yes. No. But he would call him if another gay guy walked in like. Walking, it was like very feminine with a purse or whatever, and that's his go-to phrase was like "fucking faggot." Like he would say that all the time. Like, and he was just, I mean, he's queer as a football bat. I mean, like, But I don't. People getting offended for things that aren't directed at them or any group that they're a part of, I don't understand.
But I also think the older you get, the harder time you have identifying with a younger generation. I mean, that's historically accurate. They're like with the younger generation coming up, like what the fuck are these kids' problems? Like they're doing this shit, and then you start getting another generation down. You're like, bunch of fucking pussies, man. What's wrong with you? You just can't grasp what the fuck is going on. And then you want to be like, well, these bunch of lazy pieces of shit. Like, well, you know what? My kids raised those lazy pieces of shit. So I'm kind of at fault for how this is going. But historically, that's how shit goes, right? You have the pinnacle of a society, right? And then it gets fucking more and more fragile as it goes until the whole thing fucking crumbles, and then another one rises the fuck back up.
You know, it's interesting, and I think I've said this on here before, but I thought about this earlier when somebody said something about Romans or whatever. It's like, you know, all of the great empires, right toward the end of their demise, they got caught up in gender. Gender was a big thing. Gender roles and genders, you know, male and female.
Is that what happened with the Ming Dynasty?
I think so. I'm pretty sure all of the major empires that
really
crumbled.
I'd have to look into that. I've said that before.
I remember did say that. You said that last time, but yes, all of the major empires before they fell got caught up on gender.
And what was it due to when it came to gender?
I don't know what it was due to, but I know that was a big thing. They really got caught up in gender.
All I know is you can
any issues that go along
in
with
fucking ancient Rome.
Oh, for sure.
Right. You can't say that kind of stuff, Steven.
No,
you can't say that kind of stuff. Remember, you wanted to kill those people.
I do want to kill those people.
We had Michael Jackson and we have R. Kelly.
Yeah, right.
We're fine.
Michael Jackson was innocent. He was proven innocent.
Was he proven innocent, or were the charges dropped because people got paid off?
Was he convicted?
I agree, but do you hold on a minute? But did OJ kill the two, his wife and the guy?
Oh, you know what I think about OJ? You know what I think about OJ? 100%.
I'm a good football player.
Right. And he's a great actor. I think
he was great in Naked Gun.
Naked Gun, yeah, I know, right? As I said, he's a great actor.
Great.
I think that if OJ did it, someone helped him. But
his brother.
But if he did not do it himself, he absolutely knows who did it. So that's my answer. I don't think he did it alone.
He read a book called "If I Did It."
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, or there was a special, right?
This is a dream guest of mine on here.
Really?
Honest to God, I would have OJ on here in a heartbeat.
My dream, I want to have a serial killer on, like 100%.
Have you guys seen or followed any of OJ on Twitter?
I hear the things.
Very active on Twitter.
Yeah, when they make fun of you, hello Twitter world.
Well, that's what he does. He does these videos on Twitter, and he's always like, "Hello, Twitter world," and he says whatever.
I'm just saying.
He never acknowledges what everyone is thinking.
Nice.
Anyway,
Evan had a look of disgust when I said I'd like to have a serial killer on.
No, I just want to know how you're gonna get him. Like, you're not gonna do a jailhouse interview.
I'm gonna start writing to prisons.
I don't know that you can just write to a prison and get.
Well, not just you're like, I'd have to look up serial killers where they're at and then write to them specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a dangerous game, me being a pen pal with a serial killer, I believe.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
But if it pays off,
right?
get a serial killer on here.
Or maybe I just become one and then report back.
You do fit the MO.
I 100% for the MO. Other than I've never burned a kitten.
Man.
With fire.
You know, one of the guys I went to school with, his younger brother used to bury kittens in the yard and run over them with a lawnmower. And then he would catch baby birds.
Was he diagnosed with psychopathy?
I don't know. He's a teacher now, though.
Jesus.
No.
Wow.
He's got burn baby birds in the grill and run over kittens and shit.
Yeah, he's got some shit. Like if he doesn't have bodies buried, he fantasizes about it. I can guarantee fucking to you.
Yeah. Damn. But yeah, anyway.
Ugh.
Again, the only reason I probably have not become a serial killer is I have to go to prison. It's way too inconvenient for me.
You just have to get away with it.
Right.
You're not that crazy. You're not that crazy then, Stephen, because you wouldn't care. You just do it.
See, that's the difference between being a sociopath and a psychopath.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I guess so. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I have the emotional capacity to do it. I just have the common sense to I have the narcissistic selfishness enough to be like, nah, that's going to inconvenience me because I know that I'm not smart enough to play an elaborate murder and get the fuck
to get away with it.
Yeah. Like if I get like going back to that question, if like I knew with impunity that I would nothing would happen to me, I'd kill anybody. I don't give a fuck. Then maybe but like you could be like, hey, see that fucking like kid over there? Go fucking choke him. I'm like, all right, cool.
Kid.
I'm just throwing that.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, kid. Well, this is.
No, I have a weird, but that's that
thing.
Internal sense of just like kidding.
Sure.
But it'd be like, hey, there's a grown man over there. You know, go like you can just tell me like, hey, you know what? He kicked a puppy once. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's choke that bitch.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
Man,
you drowned some rats before, though.
I have drowned some rats before. Well, no, I didn't have to drown the rats. I made other people drown the rats.
Oh, you didn't have to when you got there?
No.
Huh.
No. So
when you made somebody do it, that's as much as, you know.
Let me rephrase this. I didn't personally make anybody do it. I watched.
You didn't say
you didn't do anything.
No.
Okay. And you didn't say stop it.
I never gave the order to drown the rats.
Silence is violence.
Right.
Yes.
I did, however, enjoy watching the people just something break inside of them.
I don't know that I could. I don't know. And I watched some fucked up shit on Faces of Death and stuff back in the day. Yeah. I don't know if I could stand there and be a part of that.
Yeah, it's just a rat.
No, I understand that. Yeah. I mean, I could put one in a trap. I can stomp one. I mean, I told you about what I did to those baby rabbits out in the yard that time. So
we have to. Did I tell you Jude was here a few weeks? I had to kill her. I had to kill a bunny like about a month ago.
Nice.
You guys are killing bunnies?
No, so a cat had, the cat had brought it up to the yard. It got out of its little den, and so it bit it, and it was bleeding. It was dying.
Yeah,
and rather than watch it suffer, like I did, fucking break its neck. But but my son was taking it. He's really emotional and like really loves animals, and he was taking it really hard. And he was like, "We can just nurse him back to health, Dad." I was like, "Dude, he can't, buddy. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to." And I was like, but you need to know what's going to happen. Like, he's not just going to disappear. And I was like, you can sit with him for a minute. So he sat and pat his little head. And he was like, we can just keep him. He'll get better. I was like, buddy, it's not how it's going to work.
No, he will not.
And I told him, I was like, we can have a funeral for him and bury him and all that shit. Yeah, I did. Because he's a kid, man. Right? but I told him, I was like, but you need to understand that this is how life is sometimes. And I didn't make him watch him. I didn't make him watch me do it.
Grandpa's gonna do this soon,
right? Yeah. But I took the rabbit out back. I fucking broke its neck, and then we had a little fucking.
This is not what I did to the rabbits.
Oh, I know it's all. But you didn't have a fucking 10-year-old.
No, I didn't. No.
Super upset about it.
No. I mean, but mine was a different situation. Yeah, but still, yeah.
Oh. Well. Anyway,
those some good lessons.
Have you ever had to? Well, see, I also grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
To a point, so I've had to kill animals and shit a lot. So that's nothing.
Yeah.
Like I had to stomp a kitten one time because
that's a big thing in the South, though. Your dog gets run over and there's no recovering from it. You put a bullet in its head. And
you got an animal that's killing your other animals. You fucking put a bullet in its head, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, my grandfather did that with my uncle's dog. He was attacking the cows, and he put a bullet in his head. Yeah. Drove him crazy. Like he cried over it because he loved that dog. It helped him with the cows and everything. But as soon as it started attacking cows, it's like they'll never not do it. Is what he said, and that's the greater good.
Yep.
So he's Batman, really. My grandfather was Batman. So
yeah, I think I only ever killed an animal once on accident on a dark road in rural Alabama. 2-lane road. Wow. Driving down the road and saw two eyes and something went thump, thump. And I got out of I got out of the car and I looked back and I could hear it whining. And there was a car coming, and I had stopped on the road, and the guy pulled up in this pickup truck, and I was like, "Hey," right? I was like, "Hey, did you see a dog back there?" He was like, "Yep." I was like, "Did it look like it was dead or dying?" He was like, "Yep." He said, "Did it do any damage to your car?" I was like, "No." He said, "I wouldn't worry about it then."
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
The dog ain't got the good sense to watch before he crosses the road.
Yeah.
I killed a fucking snow owl in a fucking van.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if they're endangered or not, but it was a white snow owl. And they're everywhere in Dutch Harbor, Alaska. I was driving the fucking Liberty van from the boat to the fucking bar with the guys in it. And I was cruising down through there, and this fucking goddamn owl come out of nowhere. I saw its fucking black eyes when it hit the fucking windshield, and it was just an explosion of fucking feathers. And I looked in the rearview mirror and saw that bitch just fucking tumble. I was like, "Oh, that's fucking cool." And another time, I had a new kid. This is in Hawaii, dude. I don't know if I've told you this before. It was a new kid. I just picked him up from the airport in the fucking van driving down, and the station where I was in the middle of this giant fucking these mountain range. This is in Hawaii. This big fucking flat plateau. And there are these fucking birds, like hundreds of them, that would land, and they'd be on the road or they'd be wherever. But when you drove, they'd all fucking
like
spread,
pigeon.
whatever.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they did not this day. And I was going down there probably 40, 50 miles an hour, and it sounded like somebody threw a bucket of gravel on the front of the fucking van. It was dead fucking blood and feathers and shit. And this kid I was with started fucking crying. And it's like, "What are you doing?" And we got there, dude. There were beaks stuck in the fucking grill, feathers and feet. And I probably killed 50 goddamn birds. Like it was a magical time.
Oh God.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like we're running out of things to talk about at this point in time.
That's fine. I'm having a good time.
I'm having a good
So
time
I
too.
just saw where Andre just commented on something like, "Fuck, dude, it's like 4 a.m. there."
Commented on something
On one of our Facebook posts. So I
Oh.
just messaged him and was like, "Hey, we're recording right now."
Yeah.
So
Fucking Andre. Tell him to call in. He's up.
we'll see if I hear back from him or not.
We can introduce him to Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andre's great.
Sexy black man. Oh my God.
He's in a South London accent.
He's like joking aside, he's one of the most eloquent dudes I've ever talked to.
Oh yeah.
Like I talk like I have dicks in my mouth. I stumble over my words. I mush mouth, whatever.
Are you stuck on the accent like women are? Is that what it is?
No, the accent I know, but I mean he's very well spoken. Like
the accent is icing on the cake.
Yeah, the accent is like the splooge at the end of the stroke. The stroking feels good, and the accent just adds to it. But
so he's a very distinguished gentleman, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but he very eloquent dude, can verbalize his thoughts and stuff, and very quick on his feet. Like
Can I
bro?
I'm gonna hip you to something, Steven.
Yeah.
Next time you talk about black men and you want to give them a compliment, stay away from the well-spoken.
Oh,
there's
okay.
nothing about.
I know. Okay, how about that?
You're well spoken for a colored gentleman.
You fucking assholes. I meant compared, like I said.
Hey, we're friends here. What is it if your friends can't hold you accountable?
That's
Fuck
true.
you. You know exactly what I meant. We just talked about goddamn intent and nothing to do with race as much as he's a very eloquent human being.
You just think all British people are stupid, and he just sounds smart.
Fuck you guys. Fuck you both. Okay, Evan.
Yes.
Bravo, sir. That was well played. That was very well played. Very well played.
Hey, we're trying to help somebody else that may not be on your level right now who's listening.
You fucking asshole. Just keeps on. I regret my decision of letting you come on this fucking show. No, that was well played. I didn't even. The funny thing is, I didn't even correlate the two things. That just kicked me right.
That's how I know you're racist.
Right. Oh shit! Spitting shit.
I mean, he's an articulate human being, regardless. Better than both of us combined.
That's another one.
Consider a human being. That's interesting.
Stay away from well-spoken and stay away from articulate. Those two. Trust me.
Oh God.
I should have even mentioned that he was a black dude, and then it would have been like, "Oh, he's an articulate, well-spoken guy." Okay, that's normal.
No.
Oh?
No. Because black and those two things are usually attached when the whites are impressed with.
But
Yeah, isn't that
I'm
what Biden said about Obama?
okay. I'm just gonna dig myself into more of a hole, but I can't help it.
I know.
So my point being, regardless of his
You
plan,
don't have to explain to me. I know, Steven. I know. It was for everyone else's benefit.
Jesus Christ, I hate all of you so much.
You're awesome, though, dude. You're awesome.
Yeah.
I met a black man that can talk better than I can.
Right.
Jesus.
But that's cool. Hey, wait a minute. Wait. How is it that you guys do a show every Saturday night from 8 to 10 or whatever? Like, don't you guys want to go somewhere on Saturday night sometimes? Or
Yes.
No,
where do you want to go? You want to be at home.
I don't want to. Yeah, I want to be at home. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, we do 8 to 10 ish,
Mhm.
and then however long he hangs around afterwards, we do our the after show thing and an intro and whatever.
We're trying to find some solutions to give me specifically, because I get more burnout than you do.
I offered him
6 episodes off.
I offered him off the rest of the year, and I would just find a co-host for the rest of the year so he could have a break.
Mhm.
So what we've talked about doing, though, which I like the concept of that, is if one of us wants to take a week off, is have a guest host for an episode from like yourself or Benny or Andre or any of those guys, but like to have an episode specifically that's just like us and one of the other podcasts, right? And
not us, one of us.
Like that's what I meant, one of us, and whatever, and have a show that way, which was actually I like the idea.
Sure.
Would you want to come on as an actual like co-host for an episode, sir?
Sure, man. Absolutely. I love you guys. I mean,
the problem is I'll never take a night off.
Retracted.
That's the thing. Is like I'll never take a night off. Is the thing. If I have an anniversary coming up, I would take that night.
But that's what I'm saying. Though, is like if you're out of town for something, instead of having to try to reschedule and do a twofer, you could just take the day. Day off.
Sure,
that's what I mean. That type of thing.
But that is one of the differences between the two of us. Is I legitimately enjoy doing every episode.
Yeah, but you also just have to walk downstairs.
That is true.
That's a huge difference. I have a 20-minute drive each way.
But 20 minutes? Oh my God. That's not, you're complaining about a 20-minute drive.
We can move this to your house.
Oh yeah.
We can absolutely
be stoked about that.
Yeah.
As soon as Eli's the fuck out of the house, I'm in, because I'll set up a full ass studio for us.
We could totally do. Can we smoke down there?
Yeah. No. Well, I can work that out.
Well, regardless, I mean, like,
regardless,
we can do this at your house. I don't care.
All right.
It's closer for Gabe too.
All right.
When he
finally
comes back.
Look at Evan bridging gaps here.
Look at that. Yeah. That's what I do. That's what I do.
You do. I hate both of you so much right now.
but no, I don't. Seriously, if you guys wanted me to come on the show and you were gonna have another guest or something, you wanted me to help out and play it loose, do the show with you, I'm for that.
Yeah, I mean, we will be looking. I will be looking for
a new co-host.
for periodic co-host from time to time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine that I ever
see
take
this.
Much
It's a slow takeover of the show. You're just edging me out.
No,
you buy your own goddamn.
I'm just preparing. That's it. I'm preparing.
You're preparing. That's fair.
Yeah. So
Steven, you can't be replaced. When you go into your soliloquies as Professor Steven, that cannot be replaced.
I can be replaced. Everybody can be replaced, sir.
Yeah, no. You're right. Everybody can be replaced. It's just to be seen if your replacement is better or worse than you.
Better, easy.
Thankful.
You could pull a homeless guy off the street and he would probably be a better co-host.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
he'd be entertaining as shit.
We should interview him. We could totally exploit people's homelessness for our show.
Homeless people are not billboards,
right? I did learn that from Dumbass Dudes. Thank you for taking the tee up. It makes me so happy.
Hey,
I don't know why. I mean, they're not billboards, but what if your t-shirt's keeping them warm?
Yeah,
and advertising. Why is that not a win-win?
That's altruism at its finest.
It is.
Yeah. That was the one thing I listened to that and I laughed my ass. I was like, dude, I want a shirt from you that has a Dumbass Dudes logo and says homeless people are not billboards. I would be so happy with one of those shirts.
Joel comes through strong with the one-liners on the show. He's super quiet. You wouldn't know. Joel is super quiet, but when he speaks or he says something, it's gonna be funny. He's always got some awesome one-liners, and he's a smart dude. He's like sometimes he's the smartest dude in the room, but he doesn't let you know he's the smartest dude in the room. That's the kind of guy Joel is. So you guys are gonna enjoy them when you do the show.
That's why I'm never the smartest guy in the room, because I would tell every fucking body I was the smartest guy. I would.
I like to think I am, but I know I'm not.
No, I'm the coolest guy in the room a lot of times. I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't know the rooms I'm in.
Okay. That's my world too. I work with engineers,
Right,
so I walk in.
That's it.
And I've always joked. I was telling my coworker today, like my thing that makes me kind of come out of the whole imposter, because I don't belong where I'm at. I'm way underqualified for my fucking job. But like I know whenever I walk into it, like I'm not the smartest person here, but I could whoop anyone's ass in this room. And so that's to me, when it comes push comes to shove, I can knock your fucking teeth in. You might can do more math than me. I can fucking break you.
Yeah, you can add up how many teeth you got to replace.
Exactly.
No,
and he
for
laughed.
me, I just look at everybody and I go, none of you guys do a podcast.
Okay, that's actually a question I have that made me think of. We've talked about this before, that weirdly, even though there are a million podcasts of 40-year-old dudes that like drink in a basement together and talk about, there's this weirdly, like when we started doing it, this weird like little things like, yeah, I have a podcast, bro. What's up?
It's the new you want to hear my mixtape. It is.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you
but
guys
I
ever
don't
have that?
I don't know anyone else in Knoxville that does a podcast. Like I don't have anyone in my in-person circle
like
that
I've
does
never
a
taken
podcast.
that, but like when somebody I know is like, oh, I listen to your podcast, it's really good. I'm like, yeah, you goddamn right it is. It's a podcast.
Yeah.
Evan knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you know what? No, I feel weird saying that.
I'm not saying it. I would never say it. I'd feel super weird saying it. But like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, bitch, I got a sweet ass podcast. Fuck you.
Yeah. There's been stuff or conversations that have come across other people, and I know like we had a really good segment on it or a really good show on it. And I want to be like, ooh, you should listen to that. But I can't bring myself to do it. You know what? You guys actually had a conversation once that I saw, and we did a show on it before we knew you guys.
Weird.
No. I'm not about you guys. We talked.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we talked about ourselves, and we talked about letting because I came across this article, and this chick lets her teens have sex at home. So that parlayed into what you let your child have sex in the home. Your teen child in the sex in the home. She had all these rules that go with it, and then it parlayed into what you let your teens drink at home. Right. And is there a double standard when it comes to your child having sex with a teacher? Is it different if it's his daughter having sex with the teacher?
There's a double standard with my kids having sex with anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
That with anybody? What do you mean with anybody?
Well, hold on a minute.
No, like I'm 100% okay with like when Jude turns 16, him railing some fucking chicks as long as he's like not knocking girls up.
Sure.
Different story with my daughter.
Or
I don't
at least
want
pay for the.
I don't want her out getting railed in the backseat of a fucking car. Right. It's a double standard.
Yeah, it is a double standard, but I find that double standard is way more often with dads though. Like moms don't typically have that double standard.
Yeah, but it's just how it is. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, same thing. Like
I don't let my underage kids drink at home.
Yeah, if Eli could bring a girl home and bone her, I would straight up let her fuck her in the basement. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we were split on the underage drinking, and everybody wanted to be progressive when it came to sex, allowing the sex. But it was like with the sons, they were kind of like, maybe, but no. But for the teacher sex thing, they were totally like, yeah, my son can go to Pound Town, but my daughter can't.
It's different, at least from a dad perspective. It's different because the guy's putting his dick inside somebody, and if it's your daughter, somebody's putting their dick inside her,
right?
And that's the thing. It's a power structure. Yeah. It is. It honestly is.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's the difference of. Just think about this in a weird social setting. Like if I'm sitting here, would I rather put my finger into Joey's mouth or let him put his finger into my mouth? I can tell you right now, both.
Right.
But I mean, right? Like I was thinking, like you would rather do the insertion than have the inserting.
It's for me. It's like because I was going to attempt to get all three of my kids here tonight.
Yeah.
To do this, and it's like, would I rather you stick your finger in one of my son's mouths or in my daughter's mouth?
Exactly.
Son, every day.
Every day.
Every day.
I came up behind Gabe at the thing tonight, and I hugged him and I squeezed his chest and his ass before I left. Like I would never do that to Olivia, not even once.
Evan,
Gabe's 21.
He's 25.
25. Oh, Gabe's 25.
He's 25.
Fuck yeah, Gabe's 25.
He's 25.
But I came up behind him. I was like, "It's good to see you, buddy."
That's assault, brother.
Yeah, gave him a little booty squeeze, and he just laughed. Like he's fine with it.
But my kids grew up.
Exactly. They're friends. They understand.
Even my daughter's like for her, like Steven's just a creepy uncle.
She told me I was
the creepy uncle.
Right.
She's had her whole. My daughter's been on a couple of episodes.
Yeah,
so.
but I would do it to Gabe all day. I would never fathom of doing it.
So for me, it's slightly different because I feel like with my daughters, like I got it right.
Right.
With my daughter. Like I love my sons.
But your son lets me fucking feel his ass up. So.
Sure, but I'm saying like with my daughter, she's super smart.
Mean as shit in a good way.
Mean in a great way. She can hold her own. She's very quick-witted. Like she can go toe-to-toe with the best of them as far as like quick wits and just roasting people.
She walked in the other day and I had shaved and she was like, "God, you look fat without a beard." I was like, "Thanks."
But, so Joey, what you're telling me is you have a favorite.
I do have a favorite.
100%.
I will 100, but my
Okay.
kids know that I have a favorite. If you ask my 3 kids who's my favorite, they'll say Olivia.
Yeah.
And they know that they know that I love them all. I love them equally, but I have a favorite for sure.
That's awesome.
But
my kids
if
know
I
have a
want
favorite too, and it's none of them.
But if I want to go to a football game, a hockey game, or whatever, I know who wants to go first and foremost. It's her.
Mhm.
She's into it. She wants to go.
Mhm.
She will shit talk with the best of them, and
I
am proud though.
So bad,
that's fine.
I can't hold.
I am proud though because she goes to the University of Tennessee here, and she was at the football game when they played Ole Miss a couple of weeks ago,
Mhm.
and the game got not postponed, put on pause for a moment because
Delayed.
fans were throwing shit on the field.
Oh, okay.
And like so the police came and they cleared out the student section. Like, hey, you got to go. And so I texted my daughter, and so I knew she was at the game, and I was hoping that she was okay, like that she wasn't getting arrested or anything else, but that I was hoping she wasn't throwing shit on the field because that's low class. Like you're throwing
Don't be
shit on the
tacky.
field. That's low class. Yeah. And like she was like, no. Like she said, it got too rowdy, and I left at the end of the third quarter. I left before any of this happened. So it's like I've done great with her. She loves sports. She can hold her own. Like I've seen where she's told boys before, like a boy broke up with her one time. A guy broke up with her one time, and because he was trying to date somebody else, and that didn't work out, and he came back to her, and she's like, fuck off. You had your chance and you lost it. Like I'm out. And she was heartbroken when he broke up with her. But when he came back, she's like, no, fuck off. So, I feel like she is my favorite, but I also feel like I got everything right with her for the most part. Yeah. So anyway,
I don't want to be a dick. We got to wrap this up. I got to drive to North Carolina tomorrow. It's fucking midnight. I'm fucking tired. I love Evan with all of my heart, soul, and fucking missing tip of a dick.
Okay. That's fine.
I don't want to be a dick. I'm not trying to call up the conversation, but I got to get up early as fucking drive to my kid. Fucking, I got to go watch him suck at football. So,
that's what we're all about, being a good dad.
Yeah. So, against all odds, it's one thing I think I'm a good dad.
You try to be.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
All right. So we got to either now or after Evan's gone, we got to do our pick.
Okay, here we go. Hold on. Write this down.
All right.
Let's see. New England. Tampa Bay. And Bengals. Whatever their spread is, I don't give a fuck. Those are the 3 teams I'm picking.
What if they're not playing?
Okay. I'll give you tertiary, or I guess secondary teams. Let's see. Titans. Did I say Titans already? No.
You didn't. No.
Okay. Titans. We'll say Raiders, and I'll say fucking the Jets.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that you know that many NFL teams.
I used to watch football back in the day.
Okay.
I can name most of them.
That's fine.
Yeah. So those are my picks. Now we've done our fucking picks.
No, you've done your pick.
Yeah.
I've not done mine.
You can just fucking dub yours in. I don't give a shit. Those are my
That's
picks,
fine.
though. I'm not.
All right.
I'm not re-recording those.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make this so difficult.
No. It's not on you at all. All right. So, just to go over my NFL picks and where we stand after week 9. Steven had took the Dolphins and got that one. That was he took one with no spread. So of course he got that because Dolphins won. He took the Patriots. He took the Patriots, and the Panthers took the Panthers plus 3.5. He did not get that, and then he took the Chargers over the Eagles. Chargers -1.5, and he got that one. So that puts his score currently at 14. I took the Bills -14.5 over the Jags. I did not hit that one, surprisingly. And then Packers and Chiefs -7.5. I took the Chiefs, and they lost. So I didn't get that one. And then Titans and Rams, and I took the Rams since the Titans did not have their star running back. Rams were -7.5. I took the Rams, and I did not hit that one either. So my current score is 13. So Steven is up 14-13 right now. Just to go back to Evans, Evan took the Bengals over the Browns. Bengals were -2.5. He did not hit that one. He took the Panthers over the Patriots. Patriots were giving up 3.5, and he did not get that one. And then he took the Saints over the Falcons. Saints were -6.5, and he did not hit that one either. So Evan was a big fat 0. So if you remember, you heard just a moment ago that Steven blindly took, since we recorded all in 2 weeks in one time, he blindly took the Patriots, Tampa Bay, and the Titans. And so the Patriots playing the Browns. Patriots giving up 2.5. He's taking the Patriots. Tampa Bay against Washington. Tampa Bay's giving up 10, and he's taking Tampa Bay. And then Titans playing the Saints. Titans giving up 3, and he took the Saints. So we'll see how he goes with that. I am taking the Patriots and Browns game. Patriots giving up 2.5. I'm going to take the Browns. And then Packers and Seahawks. Packers giving up 3.5. I'm going to take them because Aaron Rodgers is back, and he's been getting some flack on his vaccination status, and I think he's going to own the Seahawks. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And then Lions and Steelers. Since the Steelers do not have Ben Roethlisberger, I'm taking the Lions. Steelers are giving up 6.5. So I'm taking the Browns over the Patriots, Packers over the Seahawks, and Lions over the Steelers. We'll see how that goes. And just to kind of give everybody a little heads up, Steven is taking a few weeks off, I think about 3 to be exact, because he's got a lot of travel going on between holidays coming up and helping family and getting his kids back and forth. So he's going to take about 3-ish weeks off, and I'm going to get some co-hosts to come in here. And so the first week is coming up would be episode 120. And that will be Kelsey. She came on with Gabe. She's Gabe's girlfriend, but Kelsey's going to come in and co-host the first week with me. And then each week I'll kind of tell you who the next co-host is going to be. But I look forward to having Kelsey in here to co-host and not just be grilled by the father of her boyfriend. So anyway, there's the tips for the week. And please let us know if there's anything we can do in this time that Steven is not with us. Like, I don't know, pray for him that he's not ruining his life. Anyway.
No, I'm still mad at you for the whole eloquent thing. Like, so, we're not talking. We're not talking for forever.
Don't be upset because I learned you something, Steven. Don't be upset.
That's right.
You didn't learn me shit. You took what I said out of context. You twisted it around.
No, he did not take it out of context at all.
No.
That's not out of context.
No. He didn't take it out of context. He spun it outside of the context I was using it in.
No, he said don't use it to describe a black person.
Within the context of them being black. It had nothing to do with him being black, with him being eloquent. There are two separate things. No,
he's saying if you're talking about a black person,
I know.
Don't use it, period.
Okay.
No matter what the context, don't use that is what he's saying.
Okay.
That would be like, describing a woman as whatever,
Steven.
Curvy.
Steven,
what?
There's a history there with those two terms when it comes to black men.
But that's
You
the
wouldn't
thing.
understand.
No. Here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about it because they're not mutually exclusive.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
But they're close.
No, just like I can say somebody's that's white's well spoken.
Hey, yes.
There's no history there.
I understand it, but that's the thing. I don't give a fuck about the history. It's the context
that.
of the human being that I'm
And
talking
that's
about.
the problem in this country.
Hey,
We don't care about the history.
Hey, Steven.
Yeah.
Do better.
Do better, be better.
See, I like him way more than you.
It's fine with me. I like him way more than I like me.
No, I've got to say though, he's the first in a while that's just straight busted my balls. That's so fucking funny.
Sure.
It's good
for sure.
Bravo. Fucking asshole. Thank you for hanging out with us for fucking goddamn
Ladies
4
and
hours.
gentlemen,
I know, almost 4 hours, right?
A 2-part episode.
Yeah.
Here with the eloquent, well-spoken Evan from the Dumbass Dudes podcast.
I got nothing, man.
I know.
It's so good. It's so good.
Now, see, that's the black joke that's acceptable.
See? There you go. And I didn't even have to use the N-word.
He will when we get off camera so much.
All right. Until next week, when I don't know if there's going to be a guest or if it's just going to be the two of us, but
it might just be you at this rate.
Yeah, for sure. Until next week.
Yep. And Evan, hang on the line for just a second after we end the stream, buddy.
Yeah, I sure will.
All right.
Yeah. Bye. Goodbye. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch at B3F Podcast. And on Instagram at B3F_podcast. YouTube has all of our videos. Support us on Patreon or buy me a coffee at B3F Podcast. Send all your questions or comments to admin at B3Fpodcast.com. Find us online at B3Fpodcast.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen. And as always, thanks for listening.